Thank you so much to the judges for that excellent response and your findings to the testimonies today. And we're going to have a time for some questions and answers for the judges as well as the expert witnesses if they want to respond to some of the questions as well. And I'm just going to make a few summary comments and then we'll move into this question and answer period. The tribunal today was really intended to increase all of our awareness about the ways in which that there are indeed fundamental laws in our legal and economic frameworks. And I think at this point there can be no mistake in saying that our economic and legal frameworks are completely incompatible with life on Earth as we know it. And this is what we are finding in these tribunals. And we're also specifically looking at the negative impact here in the local community, here in Richmond, in the Bay Area. And we also wanted to take note that there are people here in this community that are already suffering from terrible health impacts from what has already happened, and we acknowledge that and understand that the process that we're engaged in is both something that we're looking at short term but also long term, and there's great need and urgent need for people who have already been impacted, and we're glad that there's a lot of local groups who are investing in those immediate responses. The other point that we wanted to make is that we think that this tribunal demonstrates that the implementation of rights of nature, rights of Mother Earth laws would indeed bring us the justice that we seek, because truly this is what is at the core of what we need to see in systemic change, is what we know as people to be true justice in our time. And we think rights of nature as a legal framework can deliver the justice that we seek. The last piece that I wanted to share with you, because it's something that many of us have been learning about as we work with our partners in the Global South and those frontline communities that Anyarada was talking about, as an example, when we were in Ecuador earlier this year, but throughout the Amazon, colleagues of ours who are living on the front lines of the tar sands, is really to understand frontline communities and the impacts right now due to an extractive economy that we're all participating in. And we think it's really important to note that when we were in Ecuador during that tribunal, one of the cases that was presented was for the defenders of the land, because many of our sisters and brothers who are working in those communities are risking their lives to advocate for Mother Earth and for their communities, and I wanted to take a moment to acknowledge them. Lastly, one of the things that has been very extraordinary for me to learn about personally, but also as a Global Alliance for Rights of Nature, is this concept coming out of the Global South, sometimes referred to as buen vivir, living well, sometimes called sumak kausai. And I think it's something we need to really learn from Indigenous people. It comes out of Indigenous communities of the Global South, which is a very full concept about yes, living well with the earth, but in a very, very multifaceted capacity, living well with each other, living well with the entire community of the earth, living well within our economy, living well with all other species. And it was really a response by Indigenous people and movements of the Global South to say, we do not accept this form of not just economy, but development models. We do not think the development of the earth and these development models are going to work for us in the sustainability of the earth and future generations. And I would just suggest, if you're interested, that you look up buen vivir and sumak kausai as a very full concept of a solution to the problem we're facing, and really coming at how we can live with the earth and each other in a new way by looking at other ways of thinking coming out of other cultures that have been living sustainably for a very long time with the earth.